episode of Off the Script Extra from Monday, November 28th, 2016. Strong rumors going around on Sunday morning stating that John Cena or Chris Jericho are heavily favored to win the 2017 Royal Rumble. Also, how close are we to an Undertaker versus AJ Styles WWE Championship match at the Royal Rumble? If it was up to AJ Styles, he'd say, let's give it to the fans. Let's talk about it.
JD from New York, 206. It's time for Off the Script. Big Show and Ryback, Strowman and Roman. Get off my fucking TV and save me the misery. And all you fucking goons, just grab a cold beer. The man of the hour is finally here. JD from New York, 206. It's time for Off the Script. JD from New York, 206. It's time for Off the Script.
Quickly, guys, before I get into the news, you got 1 day left for 30% off Barbershop Windows Black Friday deal, man. If you guys have been on the fence about buying my merchandise via Barbershop Window, we are an official partner with Barbershop Window. All you got to do is go to the website and type the coupon code Black Friday, and you're going to save 30% off, man. JD is Negan is on sale. It's a brand new design, 30% off. Dana Brooke, version 5 of Get Off My TV, 30% off, man. Roman Reigns, Eva Marie, The Big Show, Goon City, the original Off the Script gray logo. Everything on that website is 30% off. If you guys have been pondering and thinking, should I buy one? Should I wait? Do not wait. Today is the last full day to take advantage of this deal. 30% off. Coupon code Black Friday at checkout is going to save you money, man. So do it. And do it today. You got till tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and everything on the website goes back to full price. So take advantage of that today. Now, I didn't expect to have a video today, to be perfectly honest with you, but this came out after I had recorded part 3 of Off the Script for Sunday. So I saved this for Monday. This by itself is a big enough story to be an entire video on its own. John Cena or Chris Jericho to win the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania. Now, it's not too early to be talking about any of this, with Goldberg coming out stating that he's going to be not number one, but he's the first entrant in the Royal Rumble. He pretty much kickstarted the road to WrestleMania. You know, with an announcement like that, after destroying Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series and him coming out the next night stating that, you know, he's got one more run in him and he's going to try. He's going to enter the Rumble. The road to WrestleMania has begun. We're just waiting. Everything else is just going to be, you know what, a little detour. It's a little stop at the rest stop, you know. You're on the road and you're pulling over to get some gas and a fucking Slim Jim and a bag of chips and a Mountain Dew, you know. And then we continue on. After TLC, after Cock Block, you know, that's when it all begins. And we start thinking and planning and strategizing what's going to happen. Who's got it? Who are the favorites? Who's going to be in it? All these fucking questions that we get every year. But John Cena and Chris Jericho right now, favored to win the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania 33. Before I even begin reading what I have to tell you here, again, please take it with a grain of salt. This is by no means confirmed, okay, at all. John Cena, I do not want to win the Royal Rumble. That is just something we've seen over and over and over again. We don't want it. I don't want it. You don't want it. Nobody wants it. That's to me, that's an uneventful and disappointing end to the Royal Rumble. Nobody wants it. John Cena can get to the WWE Championship on SmackDown side in another way, which we'll talk about. Jericho winning the Royal Rumble, you know, I wouldn't mind it You know, the whole stigma that a young guy has to win it, a career could be made, someone new, someone fresh. I understand that. But you enjoy Chris Jericho. You enjoy his act. I enjoy his act. Everybody seems to be enjoying Jericho's act. You don't know how many articles I've seen, read, or come across in the last couple of months stating that Chris Jericho's work is some of the best work he's ever done in his WWE career. At the age of whatever, man, what is he, his mid-40s? He's doing some of the best work of his career right now. You know? He took AJ Styles under his wing as he entered the WWE and gave AJ Styles great matches. You know? And he's doing it now with Kevin Owens. He's taking Kevin Owens and he's getting Kevin Owens over amongst the audience. Who knows where Kevin Owens would be without Chris Jericho by his side? Jericho is the most over thing on Monday Night Raw. And I understand and we know that the Universal Championship should be number one. But sometimes you need a push in the right direction. I don't like that the WWE has positioned the Universal Championship as unimportant. You know, everything on Monday Night Raw seems to be more important than the Universal Championship. They don't position Kevin Owens as the top tier guy. It's always Roman Reigns or it's Charlotte or it's something else. Sasha's white pants. You know, we made fun of it, you know. Sheamus's mohawk. The fucking list. Stephanie McMahon, Mick Foley. It seems like the Universal Championship isn't the most important championship or thing on Monday Night Raw. Everything else seems to take precedent over the Universal Championship. But with Jericho being as popular as he is, it only makes sense for him to battle Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. It only makes sense. You know? Jericho doesn't necessarily need to win at all. I wouldn't mind it if Jericho won the Royal Rumble. It would be an easier pill to swallow when compared to John Cena. Because John Cena right now, you know, no sugarcoating anything. John Cena has been part-time. John Cena has been part-time through most of 2016. And I don't want a part-timer winning the Royal Rumble. I don't. Jericho, for the most part, has been there all year. Jericho has been with WWE all year. He has not taken a day off. He has not taken a week off. He has been there and he's helped Raw and he's helped, or at least tried to. I don't think anybody can help Raw. He's helped Owens. He's gotten himself over. He's becoming the most popular guy in the company on the main roster with the list. It would be an easier pill to swallow if Jericho won it over John Cena. Jericho, if he won it, you know, you can't sit here and tell me that he doesn't deserve it. He's been there. And he's helped the company in every possible way. Every possible way. And the way he's treating Owens and the way he's involved with Owens and he's always been mingling in the main event, it only makes sense for this friendship to crumble and fall apart and have the blow off at WrestleMania. You're not going to do it at Royal Rumble. You're not going to do it at the Elimination Chamber. It's going to happen at WrestleMania. And WWE, this is something that WWE can drag on and build and then quickly turn the switch from best friends into jealousy and frustration and a friendship crumbling, you know? That's what they need to do. But what if neither of these guys win the Royal Rumble? What if neither of them win the Royal Rumble? Who wins the Royal Rumble? You know? Finn Balor? Is Finn Balor going to come back and win the Royal Rumble? Possible. What if he wins the Royal Rumble? He's going right after the Universal Championship. The title that he got taken away due to injury. He wants his championship back. Is it going to be Balor versus Owens? Or is Jericho going to be involved in that and make it a triple threat match, which was rumored to be taking place at Hell in a Cell? Does WWE go back to that original plan that was supposed to be at Hell in a Cell, but now do it at WrestleMania? That's always a possibility as well, you know? So there are different ways we can get there. Now, what if Balor doesn't win it and he's not ready for WrestleMania? Who wins the Royal Rumble? Well, at that point, I don't care. I don't care. As long as it's not a part-timer, as long as it's not someone who is overly fucking predictable, I want to go into the Royal Rumble with a clear mind. I want WWE to assemble a field of 30 with at least 10 of them potential, I think he can win it type of guys. That's what I want. The Royal Rumbles in years past have been absolutely fucking downright predictable garbage. Garbage. Batista was predictable. Roman Reigns was predictable. Even the Triple H win in 2016 was predictable. But I didn't mind it because it got the title off Roman Reigns. And it was exciting. You know, Roman came in at number 1, defending the title in the Rumble. And he was eliminated before the match ended. So we knew we were getting a world champion. It was kind of predictable who it was going to be. But everybody was excited when Roman was eliminated. Everybody was going for Dean. People were cheering for Triple H because he was the one who eliminated the one guy nobody wanted to win. It was fucking crazy. It led to one of the worst main events in WrestleMania history, but I didn't mind when Triple H actually won the title. Because there was some sense of buzz around it, and Roman Reigns wasn't the champion. We knew he was getting it back at Mania, but it ended up being one of the worst matches ever, so I didn't care. And Roman fucked himself over with the drug test, and you guys know the rest is history. But if it's not Cena, if it's not Jericho, if it's not Balor, I don't care. It's not going to be Goldberg. It's not going to be Lesnar. I'm pretty confident in that assumption. It's not going to be either one of those guys. Then who wins the Royal Rumble? I don't know. I don't care. But it's not too early to be boiling it down to these guys. If I was to make, honestly, if I was to make a prediction right now, I think my top 2 would be Jericho and Balor. Those are my top 2 picks right now. If I had to pick a winner, I would go with Jericho. Now, you're probably wondering, if none of these guys win it, and WWE, again, just comes out of fucking left field and shocks the world with some fucking bumble-headed move, who wins the Royal Rumble? What happens to all these guys, and how do we get to the main events of WrestleMania? Well, it's very simple. John Cena, he doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble to go one-on-one with The Undertaker at WrestleMania, because if I was booking this, Undertaker vs. Styles would take place at the Royal Rumble. Undertaker would win it. He would go on to WrestleMania as the champion. John Cena would then go on to Elimination Chamber in February and win the Elimination Chamber. That's that. And by the looks of it, if Jericho, Cena, or none of these guys win the Rumble, you know, I don't know how they're going to handle the Elimination Chamber. Is it going to be a dual-branded pay-per-view? Is it going to be a brand-specific pay-per-view? I don't know. Being that we have the Rumble and Mania, which are dual-branded pay-per-views, it might come down to who wins the Rumble, whether it's a SmackDown or Raw guy, and depending on that, we'll find out what kind of pay-per-view it's going to be. I honestly think it's going to be a SmackDown pay-per-view, because I think a Raw guy is going to win it, which lends to the credibility that Jericho or Balor will win the Royal Rumble. That's also going to play a hand in the fact that the Royal Rumble might end up being very predictable this year. Because I don't see anybody on SmackDown winning the Royal Rumble. Styles is going to be involved. I don't see Styles is going to be involved with The Undertaker. Dean Ambrose is not winning the Royal Rumble. I don't see Ziggler winning the Royal Rumble. I don't see Miz winning the Royal Rumble. I don't see Baron Corbin or Apollo Crews or Bray Wyatt or Randy Orton winning the Royal Rumble at all. It's going to be a Raw guy. It's going to be a Monday Night Raw guy. So you have Strowman, Reigns, Balor, Jericho, Rollins. It's either going to be one of those 5 guys. I don't see Goldberg. I don't see Lesnar. After everything I just said, I just blew my own mind. It might come down to being a predictable Royal Rumble. I just don't see a SmackDown guy winning it. It's going to be a Raw one. It's going to be a Raw guy. SmackDown's going to get Elimination Chamber. Cena's going to win the Elimination Chamber. And by some way, if it's Jericho or Balor, I think Owens is going to get either Jericho or Balor or both at WrestleMania. Because you get both of those guys involved. You finish off the storyline. Jericho doesn't necessarily have to win the title. You know, Balor can win the title back. Jericho could go on his way, do what he's got to do with Fozzy. Kevin Owens can, you know, rebuild his program with Finn Balor. And they can battle over the Universal Championship on Monday Night Raw. That's what I think is going to happen, to be perfectly honest with you. Cena's going to battle The Undertaker. Cena's going to win the Elimination Chamber in February if... This is all speculative. I don't even know if they're bringing it back. But Cena, if they do, pretty much they have to. Because it makes sense. It's going to be in a very important part of the road to WrestleMania, especially with the brand split. There's no better way to decide who gets the other title shot for the other brand at WrestleMania besides the Elimination Chamber. That's the best way to do it. Fastlane, goodbye. It was a cheesy gimmick. It was a cheesy name. It was fucking so god-awful, name-wise. Give me Elimination Chamber. That's a perfect placeholder right in between Rumble and Mania. Cena's going to win the Chamber. We're going to get Cena Undertaker. We're going to get Owens, Jericho, or Owens, Jericho, Balor at WrestleMania. Where does that leave Seth Rollins? Well, Seth Rollins can battle AJ Styles in a fantasy warfare, really. That's real fantasy warfare. This interpromotional match, you're allowed an interpromotional match once a year as long as you don't overdo it. Obviously, WWE gave that entire concept to the Survivor Series this year, but I didn't think they had any other way to go about it to make Survivor Series legit, you know? And I think brand warfare, I think interpromotional, I think fantasy warfare here, AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins. And that could be a way to kickstart the Shield gimmick. Back again, you know? That could be a way to kickstart, you know, Anderson and Gallows joining forces on SmackDown with AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, you know? Interpromotional. Get the Shield versus the Club going. I think that's a great way. I think that's a great way to get, you know, a big storyline going for 2017. They should have did it in 2016, but WWE had other plans and other ideas. You know, I think that's a great way to kickstart the Shield versus the Club and get them back together. Styles versus Rollins at WrestleMania. Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. If I'm booking SmackDown right now, you know, this just literally came out of left field. This came out of left field. I didn't expect them to be challenging American Alpha on SmackDown, and I got news on this right before we go to TLC. I got Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton beating American Alpha on Tuesday. I got Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton beating Rhino and Slater for the tag team titles. I got the Wyatt family new tag team champions, and they're going to remain tag team champions, and they're going to build the Wyatt family up like they should have been doing because they deserve it. And I think this is going to take Orton and Bray Wyatt all the way to WrestleMania. And I think they're going to defend the title. And along the way, there's going to be some inner problems there where Randy Orton starts to snap out of it. And he starts breaking away from the Wyatt family. It's going to be Shawn Michaels versus Stone Cold Steve Austin all over again. Remember when they were tag team champions? And they had to, you know, become champions. They had to defend the titles. And then they went one-on-one at King of the Ring. It's going to just be like that. This is all going to lead to Randy Orton breaking away from the Wyatt family. It's going to get Bray Wyatt more dastardly. It's going to get him to be more like a heel. It's going to break Randy Orton away and make him a babyface again, which I don't really like. I like Randy Orton to be the heel. But it's all going to lead to Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania. You know, whether they're tag team champions or not at WrestleMania remains to be seen. But I think that's going to lead to a breakdown match at WrestleMania between Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. At least this time when we get there, unlike the last time where nobody cared, people will care now because I'm enjoying Randy Orton inside the Wyatt family. I think it's great. I think it's great for Bray Wyatt, and I think Randy Orton looks fucking damn good in the Wyatt family, if you ask me. You know? And Randy Orton as a tag team champion with Bray Wyatt, that's a fucking dream team right there, man. Two of the best talents, not only on SmackDown, but in WWE in general, period. I think that's going to do well for both men, and I think it's going to end in a match at WrestleMania. That's the way I'd book it. JD, what about American Alpha? Listen, it's not the right time. It's not the right time. Let's get this going with the Wyatts. They're going to eventually drop the titles, and then American Alpha can capitalize on the deterioration of Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, and then they can move on to a championship match with the Usos, if you want. You know? But I like the inner workings here, and I like what it's leading to. The possibility of that happening is very plausible. So you can see that happening, and I could see it happening at WrestleMania. So we got Cena Undertaker, we got Styles versus Rollins, we got Jericho, Owens, and Balor, and Goldberg versus Lesnar at WrestleMania. Those are the four matches right now that I'm thinking about for WrestleMania. How else you want to get there, what else you want to book on WrestleMania remains to be seen, but coming out of the Royal Rumble and going into the Elimination Chamber, I think that's where WWE goes with this. That just makes the most sense to me. But John Cena and Jericho winning the Royal Rumble, this came from Leaks Reports. WWE Leaks Reports. I don't know whether this is a website, a dirt sheet, a newsletter. I don't know. They got Jericho, his odds going from 8-1 to 5-1, 10-1 to 8-1 on certain betting websites with the bookies. The writer for this website, or newsletter, whatever the fuck they are, speculates that the two favorites to keep an eye on right now are Jericho and Cena based on the two storylines that I just previously went over. Both superstars seem to have major stories involving the championship chase right now. Cena is even bigger than Jericho's, with Cena currently off television for various reasons. Obviously, they're talking about 16 title reigns. Obviously, they're talking about him being the world champion once again. No better way to culminate that with a match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania. It just lends itself to being historic and epic and just makes sense. You know, John Cena has won the Royal Rumble several times. He's got a 5-1 odd right now with the bookies. Cena has been quiet due to his recent time off, but there's a big historic championship win looming in the distance for John Cena. We know it's coming. WWE has teased this before he even took time off. It's coming. We just don't know when, how, or with who, but it's coming. Some fans want it. Others are loathing the idea, but John Cena is nearly caught up to Ric Flair's 16 World Championship reigns. In the dream situation here, Cena will come to the Rumble, find a way to win it once again. Meanwhile, Undertaker will defeat AJ Styles at the same event, setting up Cena Undertaker in a marquee WrestleMania 33 main event. I told you I don't want Cena winning it. I think the best way for Cena to get to The Undertaker, if we do get Taker versus Styles, is through the Elimination Chamber. I think that lends more credibility to John Cena, and I think that spares us from watching a predictable Royal Rumble. Okay, I'd rather that happen than having Cena win the Royal Rumble. Obviously, right now, nobody's taking Finn Balor into consideration. He's definitely due to make a surprise return. He could win the big match in January. That's also a possibility. But as far as booking a huge pay-per-view card is concerned, all the scenarios that I just came up to you guys with definitely could happen as we head through the Elimination Chamber, through the Royal Rumble, and on to WrestleMania. Let me know what you guys think about that. Now, quickly, let me go over this. AJ Styles recently had an interview and stated, if WWE fans want Styles versus The Undertaker, we should give it to them. That's what he said. He's referring to the fans when he said Styles was certainly willing to throw out the possibility of it and pretty much tell WWE publicly that this is the match that should happen at the Royal Rumble, if at all possible. No one would really be against it because it's truly a dream match for so many fans who grew up watching WWE and, of course, have come to love and know the style that is AJ Styles from TNA, Ring of Honor, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Whether you are a wrestling fan of WWE or not, you gotta admit, Undertaker versus AJ Styles in a match, marquee match, championship match, is definitely a dream match, no matter if you're a fan of the promotion or not. Undertaker, 51 years old, yes, but that does not mean he can't go. AJ Styles is one of the safest workers, one of the most well-rounded workers in the world. He's probably the best talent in the world today. If there's anybody that Vince McMahon could trust to bring a good match out of The Undertaker like we know he can, it is AJ Styles. So, for all those reasons, it should happen, on top of it being absolutely fucking a marketing dream. The phenomenal one versus the Phenom. Who goes to WrestleMania? You know? Unbelievable. You gotta have it happen. The match between them would make a lot of sense. Taker's obviously a legend that surpasses titles, but Styles would beat Dean Ambrose at TLC, retain his title, and not have an opponent for the Royal Rumble. Therefore, an opponent would be needed. Otherwise, you don't have one of the top guys on a major pay-per-view where the WWE happens to also be returning to the Alamo Dome for the first time in years. WWE would not let this happen, of course. That means a top babyface would be needed to face him for the title, and John Cena would most likely be in the Rumble match. That leaves us with The Undertaker. Do keep in mind as well that this match would take place in Texas, the home state of the dead man. On top of all this, this is supposed to be his last run in the WWE. WWE has already laid out plans for this match beginning the week of Survivor Series. He said if anyone cost Team SmackDown live, they would have to fear the failure of the team. They would not have to fear the failure of the team, but rather they would have to fear The Undertaker instead. AJ Styles cost Dean Ambrose to be eliminated in the match, and Ambrose would return to make sure AJ was eliminated as well. Obviously, the Blue Brand won the men's match, but neither men knew that would happen for sure. So they weren't thinking about winning. They were out for themselves only. So obviously this could definitely come into play if The Undertaker wants to be brought back to television and address this situation. Their reactions and hatred for each other almost led to the loss. So Undertaker more than likely will bring this up as we get closer to TLC and into the Royal Rumble. This is something that The Undertaker would obviously see and mention, which means it makes sense for him to go after whomever wins the match at TLC between Styles and Ambrose. If Styles leaves as champion, he will face Taker at the Royal Rumble. If Dean wins the title back, he could very well face The Undertaker at the Rumble instead. The match with AJ Styles makes far more sense, and since it is a match fans want to see, WWE would have the opportunity to make it happen and draw interest to the Rumble event. Clearly, when Undertaker wrestles, it's special. However, having a match with Styles is even bigger for fans. It's actually bigger than the Royal Rumble, to be honest with you. And storyline-wise, makes sense, and the fans want the match. So it looks like WWE is prepared to give it to us, and Styles wants to make sure people know the company is listening. So it's going to happen. You know, it all depends on the Undertaker's health and how his hips feel, but I think Undertaker has several weeks. He's got 2 months to get ready. I think he had surgery, I don't know, during the summer, and I think by the Royal Rumble, he should be good to go. Undertaker would not be back on television if he did not know he was not going to be ready to compete. He knows that he's going to be needed. He knows he's going to be called upon. And this is just a fucking huge cherry on top of the cake. Styles versus The Undertaker is something that is an absolute fucking dream match. I would love to see it happen, and I hope WWE gives it to us in the Alamo Dome. No better way to sell out the Royal Rumble than having Goldberg and Lesnar in the Rumble. You add some more top-notch guys in the Rumble to lend to the unpredictability of the 30-man over-the-top rope battle royal. Styles versus The Undertaker. You got it set, man. You got it set. Maybe a surprise appearance by Shawn Michaels or Stone Cold Steve Austin. Royal Rumble is going to be absolutely fucking historic, and I can't wait to see what happens with everything. But let me know what you guys are thinking, man. Is my WrestleMania card too far off? Do you think that is possible of happening? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for everything. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up. 30% off. Code Black Friday. Barbershop window. Make sure you guys take advantage of that today. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on saving some big money on some damn good fucking looking t-shirts, man. Thank you guys so much. I am JD. Hit that thumbs up, and I will see you all tonight for Monday Night Raw. Talk to you later.